Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to this very special edition of the Minute Talk right here on YouTube. And right now, as we speak, I'm putting this out on live. I know I did a Minute Talk Facebook page earlier, well, not earlier, but yesterday, a live episode of the whole thing that happened with WWE Crown Jewel. So I pretty much gave my opinions, gave my access, and told everybody how I feel about Crown Jewel that took place yesterday over in Saudi Arabia on the WWE Network. I said it on my Facebook page. I was supposed to have done a 10-minute main event talk on my IGTV on Instagram, but I didn't have time to do it, so I went ahead and decided I was going to do it today. So I haven't posted it yet, but it's going to be posted out there later on immediately after this episode of the main event talk is done. So obviously we got to talk about WWE Crown Jewel. Now, I had a chance last night to go ahead and watch Crown Jewel for myself and see how all that went down. And I got to tell you, everything that happened at Crown Jewel absolutely sucked. I said it before and I'll say it again. It was bad. It was possibly the worst pay-per-view they did, and it couldn't have gone at a bad time, bad time, unfortunately. Because everyone talked about the whole thing with Saudi Arabia and the whole thing with the WWE and the money and someone getting murdered and all this other stuff, and it caused a lot of controversy with Crown Jewel. So a lot of questions were brought up. Was it going to happen? Was it not going to happen? My view was, I think it is going to happen. I think they're going to put Crown Jewel regardless of the situation and the controversy and everything, because they gotta they gotta put it out. They gotta advertise it and everything, and say, "Hey, what's up, my bro? Hey, what's going on, Peter? How's it rolling, man?" One of my closest friends, Peter Lopez, who's probably watching this right now. And just to let you know, Peter, I had a chance to watch Crown Jewel. It came on yesterday on the WWE Network, and there was a lot of stuff that went down. I posted on my Facebook Live, and now I'm getting a chance to do my YouTube Live right here and just kind of give everyone an idea of what's going on. So, regardless of what anyone thinks, yes, they should have put it somewhere else. They should have put Crown Jewel at a different location, a different spot. But if you try to cancel a show, and this is my opinion, I've said this on my Main Event Talk Facebook page. If you try to cancel the Crown Jewel show, then yeah, I mean everyone will obviously like that idea, but that would be a bad idea for the WWE because they lose money, they lose business, and it'll probably cost them a lot of money than it already is. So what do business wise? Unfortunately, and I think this is something that is out of our hands. We can't really do anything about it. The WWE, all they can do is they can either cancel the show or move on with the show. The smartest thing to do is to move on with the show, do it as advertised, and get it out of the way so that way we don't have to deal with it anymore. So that's exactly what they did. They went ahead, they put Crown Jewel, it's all set for Saudi Arabia, and now I didn't get a chance to see all of it yesterday when it actually happened live. I saw some of it, and then after that, it was just out the window. And then I decided, I looked through the reviews, I looked through everything, I looked through the picks, I looked through the results and everything. And then last night, I decided I'm going to go ahead and take a chance and watch the entire pay-per-view. Now, some of the pay-per-view I saw, and then some I just skipped through just to see the end of the result and see what happened. So, let's talk about Crown Jewel. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about what happened, and let's talk about the beginning of the match, or let's talk about the beginning of the event. There were a lot of rumors speculating that Hulk Hogan was going to be at Crown Jewel. And at first, I thought it was just a bunch of bullshit. I thought, nah, there's no way. I mean, there's no way they're going to put Hogan over in Saudi Arabia. And I don't think anybody really, well, I don't know if anybody really wants to see Hulk Hogan. But in my view, it's like, you know what? I think that was probably the best thing that could happen in WWE because, everybody remembers about what Hogan did several years ago and everything. And then I've often said that, you know what? I think the fans are gonna forgive Hogan within a year or maybe 2 years, depending about what happened. Because regardless of the whole thing that happened with Hogan and all this other stuff, here's the bottom line, guys. The bottom line is we love Hogan. Hulk Hogan was one of the reasons why I become a wrestling fan. Hulk Hogan is one of the reasons why all of you are wrestling fans as well. And the thing is, whatever goes on, however it blows up and everything. Hogan shows up at Crown Jewel. It was great. It was good seeing him, and all we can do is just, all we can do is forgive Hogan. For everyone else, all the fans, I mean, I've seen all the mean tweets and all the stuff that they've been saying, Hogan. Fuck Hogan. Who gives a fuck about Hulkamania and all this other stuff? This is the thing. What did he do that was so great? Well, look. This is the thing. Hogan showed up on a WWE pay-per-view for the first time in a long time. Now, it may have been bad for Hogan to be there in a situation where all this controversy, Crown Jewel, and all this other stuff. I mean, and maybe Hogan should have been appearing on Raw or appearing on SmackDown somewhere else. This was not my idea. This was the WWE's idea for Hogan to be there. And like I said, I didn't think he was actually going to be there. I thought Hogan wasn't going to be there. I thought it was just a rib. I thought it was just bullshit. But he showed up. But it was good to see him. That, it doesn't matter to me about the whole racist thing that happened years ago. I mean, we got to squash that. We got to put that out of the way. And Hogan was out of the Hall of Fame. And then all of a sudden he's back in the Hall of Fame. And everyone is just, some people were excited to see it. Others were not too happy about it. And that's fine. But to me, I think it was great because this is kind of a step forward to bringing Hogan in back for the WWE. Not necessarily for Crown Jewel, but just bringing him in anyway, just like that. So hopefully in the near future, I'm not saying we should see Hulk Hogan every day or every Raw, every SmackDown. This is just one step closer to try to slowly bring Hogan in and try to put everything, all this crap that happened with Hogan and everything behind us. I mean, we got to get behind that shit. We got to get over that. I mean, that's out the window. I mean, we can't dwell on the past forever. We've got to move on. We've got to. And they're pretty much trying to move on with this whole thing. Nothing in the product, just some old. Yeah, I mean, I can understand it, but like I said, we got to move on from this. We really got to. So, and like I said, that's probably the only thing that was good about Crown Jewel from there, after that. So Crown Jewel comes up next, and we start off with the beginning of the World Cup, okay? And as I said on my Main Event Talk Facebook Live, I really, the World Cup, it's a joke. It's pretty much a joke. And what the hell is this? Never mind. Never mind. I got distracted a little bit. But anyways, it was a joke. The World Cup was ridiculous. But at the same time, you got a lot of talented top superstars in there. I mean, I personally, if I wanted to do a World Cup, I mean, I want to do a World Cup. I was so used to, like, the X Cup or the World X Cup and the X and all that stuff that TNA did and the NWA did. I mean, they did a good job putting together World Cup because you got different nationalities from Japan and England and Australia and the United States and Canada and Brazil and all that stuff. That's what a World Cup should actually be. This is not exactly a World Cup, everyone. This was just, whatever they decided to put together. They got Kurt Angle, they had Bobby Lashley, they had Jeff Hardy, they had all this great bunch of talent and everything, and it was. I mean, the only crazy thing about it was Rey Mysterio was probably the only foreigner in there. You know why? Because while you're sitting there with a bunch of Americans in this World Cup, you had Rey Mysterio, who was the only one who, even though, yes, he comes from San Diego, California, but he's originally from Mexico, when you think about it. Let's see. So, then we go to Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. Now, I saw the matchup. It was a tremendous match. Rey Mysterio got a surprise pin, and it wasn't a big surprise to us that Randy Orton was going to lose to Rey Mysterio. It wasn't a big surprise. But also, the fact that afterwards, I mean, I already knew right away Randy Orton was going to attack Rey Mysterio. I thought, oh, man, and he was already going to hurt him right away. And I thought this was one of these situations where they're going to hurt Rey, they're going to put him where he needs to be at, and then he'll be out before you know it. So Randy Orton's eliminated from the tournament, and Rey Mysterio advances on. The next matchup that took... Oh, wait a minute. Before we move on to the World Cup, before we move on to the next matchup, I forgot to mention about the kickoff show. I didn't see all of it, but they showed the matchup between Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. To me, it was a pretty good matchup. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm so glad that he's the United States champion. I hope he holds on that title for as long as he can. And he retained it against Rusev. It's funny. Yesterday I was on my Main Event Talk Live. I was drinking a beer. Now I got me a bottle of water. Okay, but yeah, the kickoff show happened. Shinsuke retained his title, and he beat Rusev. Now, let's move on to the next round of the first round of the World Cup. You had the Miz taking on Jeff Hardy, and this was one of these situations where I didn't want anybody that knows me knows that I don't like the Miz. I don't like the Miz at all. I really didn't like him at all. But you know, he's a successful individual. He's great at what he does, but I still don't like the guy. And I wanted him to lose against Jeff Hardy. I saw that entire matchup, and it was by far one of the best matches in there. And Miz earned his way to the top. Unfortunately, he beat Jeff Hardy. He beat the United States champion, and moved on to the World Cup. And now it's going to be the Miz taking on Rey Mysterio for the SmackDown side of the World Cup. Now we go to the Raw side. You got Kurt Angle versus Dolph Ziggler, and this was another tremendous match as well. One of these other matches that I was hoping for Kurt Angle to beat Dolph Ziggler in. But it ended up being Dolph Ziggler winning over Kurt Angle, and very decisively, I might add. And you figure Drew McIntyre would have gotten away with this matchup, but it never happened. It never did. You know, so Dolph Ziggler moves forward into the semifinals, and then we got another matchup: Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. And to me, I was picking Seth Rollins to win the entire World Cup, in my view. And sure enough, the matchup between Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins, it was one-sided with Bobby Lashley. All one-sided with Bobby Lashley. And then all of a sudden, Seth Rollins comes in, hits the stop, 1, 2, 3. Lio Rush is in a shock, and Seth Rollins moves forward into the semifinals. So now, on the SmackDown side, you got Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. And on the Raw side, you got Seth Rollins against Dolph Ziggler. A matchup that we've seen many times before. Miz and Ray, I don't think they've really faced off that many times and everything. Let's talk about those matches. I'm not gonna go into detail about it. Rey Mysterio got hurt. He got hurt extremely bad in there. He tried to move. He tried to stay on it as much as he could. He could not. So the Miz successfully defeated Rey Mysterio right there. So he moves on to the finals in the World Cup. Then you got Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, an old rival. A matchup that we've seen many, many times before. And one mistake that Seth Rollins did was try to interject Drew McIntyre into the match. And to me, had Seth Rollins just left Drew McIntyre alone, then there could have been a way for Seth Rollins to win the matchup in some ways. But it is what it is. Seth Rollins came out and attacked Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins tried to do a splash on Dolph Ziggler. Drew McIntyre got in the way of the matchup. Dolph Ziggler was, pouncing right on Seth Rollins. 1, 2, 3. So now we got the finals. We got Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, I was watching this, and the first thing that came to my head when I saw the finals, I said, "This is the finals, huh? This is the finals of the World Cup, ladies and gentlemen." So let me see if I got this right. I wanted my personal feelings on the World Cup. I think it should have been Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins at the finals. I thought that'd be great. Or how about an old classic? How about Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio? That would be something awesome to look forward to in the finals. Or let's think of another matchup. Bobby Lashley. How about Bobby Lashley taking on, say, Rey Mysterio or Jeff Hardy? Well, even though these two have faced off against each other in TNA Wrestling before, they've never faced off in the World Cup. That would be something. Any other match would be fine. But The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler is a match we've seen many, many times before back in 2016 to 17. Great matches, great rival, and everything. And I'm like, okay, so this is what we're stuck with. We're stuck with the finals. We're stuck with Dolph Ziggler. We're stuck with The Miz. There's some people that are already shaking their heads saying, why the fuck are we watching this match again? That's exactly what their thought is. So, we move on to the finals. Before the finals took place, here comes Shane McMahon coming down the aisle, representing SmackDown. And then, of course, you got Baron Corbin. He's out there as well, representing Raw as the commissioner. So the matchup took place. The beginning of the match, well, actually, it didn't even start at all when you think about it, because the referee was trying to get rid of Drew McIntyre, and it was the right call, because We needed a one-on-one match. We wanted to see a fair match between these two, and that's exactly what I was going to go for. And believe it or not, I've never said this. I've never said this on my Main Event Talk Live, and I never ever thought in a million years I would say this. But if it did came down to these two, Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, I would actually pick The Miz over Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, despite all the shit that I don't like The Miz. I don't like The Miz at all. I felt that The Miz should have won it. I felt it should have. Let's see, what happened to the photos you had to remove? You know what? The ones that I think I know what that is. I'll get to that when the time is right. I don't know. I don't think right now is an appropriate time to do it. I know there's some that I gotta put on the Event Talk Facebook page later, but I'll get to that in a second. So we got The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. The referee interjects Drew McIntyre, gets him out of the way, and then goes ahead and these two just go at it. The Miz tries to attack Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler tries to attack The Miz. The matchup has to start again. The referee's trying to get these two separated so that way they could, start the bell and everything else like that. I saw Miz was getting off the ramp or getting off the ring. It goes down. He kind of goes down bad. And I don't know if he really hurts his leg or if he did anything wrong. I think it was just a work. I looked at it, and it looked like he landed wrong, but he may have landed right, but just did it wrong. I could be wrong. And The Miz was injured. He couldn't compete. He couldn't go on. He couldn't do anything, which leads to the controversy behind what happened. Okay, so we got this situation where The Miz is out, and Dolph Ziggler pretty much wins it. And you figured, okay, he's the winner. He wins the World Cup. That's it. Raw gets to take the trophy home. No, Shane McMahon was not going to do that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, I don't exactly agree with the idea of Dolph Ziggler winning the World Cup just because The Miz got injured. But it is what it is, and there was really nothing we could do about it. And I'm like thinking, okay, fine, just give him the World Cup. Give it to him. Hand the trophy over to him. Goes on to Raw. No, Shane McMahon was not going to stop. He wasn't going to do that. So he injects himself in the match. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me you're gonna put yourself in the match against Dolph Ziggler in the World Cup when you didn't qualify, when you didn't advance, and all you're doing is trying to bring the World Cup to SmackDown. Fine, and he's fresh. That's the thing, he's fresh. Drew McIntyre's put out of pasture. Dolph is a little bit hurt, but he can still go. And Shane is just trying to do whatever he can to bring the World Cup from SmackDown. That's what he's doing. Baron Corbin comes in and tries to interfere, and he makes a mistake and gets out. Now, there's a lot more to the story with Baron Corbin, which I'll get into later on, about the Universal Championship. So, in the matchup, it ends with Shane McMahon going from the top rope, doing the coast-to-coast thing on Dolph Ziggler, pulls him in. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane McMahon wins the World Cup. He's the best in the world. Shane McMahon is the best in the World Cup. And he's only been in that match one time. That's it. he earned the victory. Yes, he earned the victory. But why did he have to get in? Well, okay, let me correct that. I answered my own stupid question. I'm sorry. But it's causing a lot of controversy. It causes a lot of fucking shit. And then I read this deal that happened this morning. I posted on my Main Event Talk, right? Where the real reason behind what Shane McMahon was doing was apparently the whole situation is, I guess it's to turn Shane McMahon heel. And at first I thought all this was stupid. All this was ridiculous. This whole thing with Crown Jewel, this whole thing with the World Cup was stupid in the first place. And all of a sudden, Why no beer? Because it's morning time and I really don't have the time to get beer. Plus, I haven't had time to go to the store yet, so I'll get my hands on a beer when I have the opportunity. But in the meantime, I need to focus. I gotta get this. I'll get a beer later on. It's Saturday, for crying out loud. The weekend is just starting. I'll get the beer when the time is right. Right now, it's morning time. It's around almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm having a bottle of water in my hands just so I can drain the system out of my and then later on, hopefully when I have the opportunity, I'll go ahead and stop by the store, get myself a 12-pack, get myself a case of Michelob Ultras, set them aside in the fridge, let them cool off for a while, then head over to the store again, head over to the liquor store, and get my hands on a big-ass bottle of Jaeger, put it in the fridge, leave it there for a couple hours, and then by the time 8, 9 o'clock rolls around, then I have myself a couple of beers, have myself a couple of shots, and then go over to Theo's and go get myself a couple of beers, have a couple of shots, get myself fucked up, have myself a number 2 double meat, double cheese, no onions, Diet Coke, water size fries from Whataburger at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You hear that fucking motorcycle going off at the fucking end. Get that shit done, go home, eat it, pass out, go to sleep, get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and say, what the fuck just happened to me, man? Oh, I got fucked up. But we'll get to that later on. But let me talk about this. The fact that Shane McMahon did this, at first, like I said, I thought it was stupid. But then it clearly made sense about why he did it. I guess the idea is to turn Shane heel on SmackDown Live. I guess when you've been a babyface for too long and it's time to change, I don't know if the fans start hating Shane McMahon. I don't think anybody can hate Shane McMahon at this point, even if he were to turn heel. I mean, I always thought that he was a great babyface. I think he was a great heel also when he was the boss's son. Well, he's still the boss's son. But nonetheless, I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, the World Cup ends up in Shane McMahon's hands. It's in SmackDown's side now, and no doubt it'll probably be brought up at Survivor Series in 2 weeks coming up on the WWE Network, and that's something I'm going to be looking forward to checking out. So, yes. Was it right for Shane McMahon to win? He earned the victory. Yes, he did. But he came in at a last stop. And to me, I think the World Cup should have belonged to Dolph Ziggler because clearly he competed, he qualified, he should have won it. He should have got the World Cup. And, no doubt, and I'm just pitching this out, if the World Cup's going to be involved with Survivor Series, if they want to bring the World Cup to Survivor Series, then I suggest that the World Cup would be on the line. You put those same people, Dolph Ziggler from the SmackDown side, Dolph Ziggler, Kurt Angle, Bobby Lashley, who else was it? Seth Rollins. You get those individuals. Well, actually, Seth Rollins will probably be doing something else. And then you get the SmackDown side of Rey Mysterio, The Miz, and all that. Get them in a team, a Survivor Series team for SmackDown and a Survivor Series team for Raw. Get them together, and whoever wins takes the World Cup at Survivor Series. That's what I think should happen. That's just my view. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that should be the view of how it should go at Survivor Series if it takes place in 2 weeks' time. So we'll see how it goes. Let's talk about it. Well, I would talk about the New Day versus the Bar, but I don't think I want to. I really don't, because I already know how that ends up. The New Day obviously loses because of the Big Show. They retain the tag team titles. I'm glad that the Bar has retained the titles, but you know, I agree with some of the fans. I think we need to change up the whole thing with the tag team titles. I mean, we need to change up the tag team titles, period. I mean, over on Raw, you got Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose who are tag team champions. I'm glad they are. But you got the tag team titles, they're very fucking bad buying. And technically, I think we need to see those titles being stripped from them. And at least hand it, you know who should hand it to? This is my opinion. This is my thought. Hand it over to the Revival. They should win the tag team titles as far as I'm concerned. Or maybe some other team from Raw to win it. Either way, we just need to see a different team win those titles. And the same goes for the SmackDown side. The Bar may be the best tag team, one of the best tag teams in WWE right now, but we need to see those titles to get away. I agree with Sanity winning the tag team titles. That should happen on SmackDown side, as far as I'm concerned. So, brand split, 2 world champs, come on. You know what? I'm about to get to that right now. Okay, so the WWE Universal Championship. Let's talk about that. So I saw the match. I mentioned earlier about what Baron Corbin did. Baron Corbin got himself, and I somehow knew he was going to interject himself because the moment when I saw him come down the aisle, I just said, "Oh crap, he's gonna." Oh yes, obviously he represents he represents Raw. He's a general manager. He's got to come out there and present the championship belt for everyone to look at. And it's just stupid. It's just ridiculous. But I kind of saw it coming. I think a lot of people saw it coming. Where here's Brock Lesnar. Here's the monster among men. These two are about to go at it. He holds the Universal Championship up in the air for everyone to see. He turns around, he walks away, he turns right back around and smacks fucking Braun Strowman in the back. Now, this is my opinion, this is my thought. Had Braun Strowman, or I'm sorry, had the Lone Wolf not interject himself in the matchup, the results could have been a whole lot different. A lot different. They gave us a shitty match. We basically handed the Universal Championship to Brock Lesnar. That's exactly what happened. Braun Strowman, to me, can still go against Brock Lesnar. They pretty much made him a joke at Crown Jewel. That's all they did. So Brock Lesnar hits about 5 F5s. He hits about 3 of them in the ring. He hits one outside. Amazing. And then he goes ahead and hits one more F5, and then that's it. Brock Lesnar is the Universal Champion. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Brock Lesnar is the baddest man in the WWE. He's as real as they come. But there's a lot of people that don't like Brock Lesnar winning the title. You know, and all of us can agree upon that. And it's just stupid. It's just ridiculous. I think it should have been done better. I don't know what to say. I mean, we knew Brock Lesnar was going to win the title somehow, but if Braun Strowman were to somehow win it, it would be better. It would be great. And we would all enjoy it. We would all enjoy the fact that the Universal title would be on Raw. We will all enjoy the fact that it would be tremendous to see the Universal title around Braun Strowman's waist. And it should have been around his waist at WrestleMania 34, as far as I'm concerned. But nonetheless, we're stuck with Brock Lesnar winning the Universal Championship. He has it for the second time. And now, you know about, and anyone that's a UFC fan knows that Daniel Cormier is going to be defending his championship at UFC 229, I believe. Yeah, 229. I'm going to probably be checking that out. Probably at theaters or probably at home, depending on how everything goes and everything. But nonetheless, that's what's going to happen tonight. And no doubt Brock Lesnar, who probably already made the trip away from Saudi Arabia and probably heading over to UFC 229, he'll probably show up over there with the Universal Championship. So if I were you, if you guys are huge MMA fans, if you like the UFC, check out the pay-per-view. Check it out. As a matter of fact, I'm also recommending this. To anyone that wants to watch the UFC 229 taking place tonight, I suggest you go over to Theo's. My place, my bar, Theo's, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You go in there, you watch the fight, you see how it goes. Who knows? You may see Daniel Cormier come face to face with the Universal Champion, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. We'll see how that goes. Also, another championship matchup that took place with the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan, who was supposed to have been there, already had his opportunity at the WWE Championship on SmackDown, and he was already thrown out. Well, he didn't want anything to do with Crown Jewel. We all know that. And some people were saying, should Daniel Bryan be punished? No, I don't think he should be punished in any way possible. I don't see any reason you should punish Daniel Bryan. No, I don't see any reason why you should punish John Cena. He didn't want to be a part of this whole thing with Saudi Arabia. He already kind of knew what was going on. And he was already pretty much done with wrestling anyway, so what's the point? So, John Cena's out the window. Daniel Bryan's out the window. AJ Styles is left with the WWE Championship in his hand, and he doesn't know who to defend it against. And then the first person that came to my head is, oh, what happens if Samoa Joe comes into play? Sure enough, Joe comes in, he interferes, he comes in the match, does what he does. And then it was announced that at Crown Jewel, AJ Styles will be defending the WWE Championship against Samoa Joe. Saw the matchup, another tremendous, great matchup, and I'm not going to leave you with suspense. Samoa Joe loses to AJ Styles. Tremendous matchup. I think the ending of the matchup should have been a whole lot different. I mean, even though it was a phenomenal forearm on Samoa Joe, I think the matchup should have been a whole lot different. I think we should have changed that any way possible. But nonetheless, AJ Styles wins the championship, retains it, and beats Samoa Joe there. Okay, so let's see. We've talked about the WWE Championship. We talked about the Universal Championship. We talked about all those matches. I think what other match am I missing? What? Oh, I know what match we need to talk about. The end. Let's talk about DX. Let's talk about the Brothers of Destruction. Let's talk about the fact that I didn't see it all. I stopped at a point, and I want to watch. I was thinking about watching the rest of it, the rest of the whole match between the Undertaker and Triple H, the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, Triple H and Kane. I want to see that matchup later on when I get the chance. So I'm not gonna hold it against anybody. DX won. They beat the Brothers of Destruction. And if they do this whole thing again, which I don't know. I heard that Shawn Michaels is too old to wrestle. He shouldn't wrestle. And you know what? Here's the thing. I don't see any reason why Shawn Michaels should even come back in the first place. Okay, Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. One of my all-time favorite superstars. One of the greatest of all time. Him competing in the ring with Triple H to take on The Undertaker and Kane. Here's the thing. I wanted Shawn Michaels to come out of retirement 1 year after he was retired. Or 2 years after he retired. It would have made a lot of sense. It would have been good. And more importantly, I think it would have been better. And I speak for everyone when I say it would have been better to see Shawn Michaels with a full set of hair. I'm sorry. It's just fucking ridiculous how this all came down and stuff. Man. But nonetheless, DX won. Kane and The Undertaker lost. And no doubt we'll see this rival go to a whole different level. It may escalate into TLC. It may escalate into the Royal Rumble. If it escalates to WrestleMania, well, I like that idea a little bit. But I like that idea a whole lot better several months ago. Because that's what I wanted to see. Not in Saudi Arabia. No. But the good thing is, you know what the good thing is? Let me tell you what the good thing is. It's over. It's done. It's out the fucking window. We don't have to hear or see Crown Jewel at WWE Saudi Arabia. We don't want to see it anymore. Now it's out the window. Now we don't have to talk about it. Now it's out the window. We don't have to see this anymore. And the only thing that's going to be happening throughout the entire next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, we'll be seeing a hashtag appearing right on the screen, right on Facebook, right on Twitter, right on Instagram, everywhere all across the world. You know what the hashtag's going to read? I put it on. Everyone else is going to put it on. And I am putting this hashtag, I'll probably put it right in the middle right there, right on the screen. Right there for everyone to look at. And the hashtag will read, WWE Crown Jewel sucks. You want me to repeat that one more time? Let me get that out of the way. WWE Crown Jewel sucks. One more time so that way everyone can understand what the fuck I'm talking about. WWE Crown Jewel sucks. Hashtag WWE Crown Jewel sucks. That is what the hashtag will read, and everyone is going to be trending it. It's going to be the hottest trend going in all of WWE and in all of professional wrestling and in all of social media entertainment. Oh my God. Why do I have to watch Crown Jewel again? I don't know. I guess because I'm a wrestling fan. You know, why do you watch all this crap of wrestling? Because I'm not any of these stupid fools that they're going to go ahead and say, well, I'm done with wrestling. I'm finished. Fuck this. Fuck WWE. Fuck all this. You know, fuck you. You know why? Because you can tell the audience, you could bullshit your crowd. You could tell everyone, I'm done with WWE. Fuck them. I don't want to watch it anymore. Boy, you know you'll be watching Survivor Series. Word of advice. When you have a beer in your hand and you're saying fuck the WWE and fuck their bullshit and all that, you're full of shit. If you're saying it without the beer, you're still full of shit. I can remember a time when people were done watching the WWE because the Undertaker came to an end at the hands of Brock Lesnar. I admit I was pissed off about that. I was mad about that. I didn't like the fact that Undertaker lost to Brock Lesnar, and everyone started saying, we're not going to watch WWE anymore because Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. Fuck you, you're still going to watch it! It don't fucking matter anymore. You can tell me all this shit. Oh, well, we're not going to watch WWE Crown Jewel. We're not going to watch this crap anymore because that was a horrible pay-per-view. Yes, it was a horrible pay-per-view. But for crying out loud, shut the fuck up about, oh, God, I'm done with WWE. They're not putting any good products out. They're not, you know what, dude? Have you ever heard of NXT? Watch it, okay? Oh, God, I don't want to hear it anymore. Just get over it. Get over this shit already. It's done. It's out the fucking window. We don't have to deal with Crown Jewel anymore. So now we got that out of the way. Crown Jewel's history. And now all we can do is move forward to 2 weeks' time. That's going to happen over at the WWE Network. Survivor Series is coming. And so far, we've got some tremendous matches that are going to take place at Survivor Series. And I cannot wait to check it out. And it looks very, very good for Survivor Series. So let's look at the card if you don't mind. It was already announced a couple of days, or probably 1 day removed from WWE Evolution, which, by the way, last week's pay-per-view of WWE Evolution was great. I loved it. That all-women's pay-per-view, I loved it. It was possibly their best pay-per-view. Well, it was not the overall best pay-per-view of them all, but it was a great pay-per-view. I digged it. The women deserved it. The women loved it. And all I can say is if we get some tag team titles for the women, they'll be happy with that too. But nonetheless, at Survivor Series, already announced, on the Raw side, you got the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, to go one-on-one against, well, possibly the baddest woman on SmackDown, and probably the hottest woman going in, and I'm not just talking physical, but hottest in all in SmackDown right now. I'm talking about Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion. That's going to be great, and I cannot wait to check that matchup. That is one hot matchup. But you want another hot matchup? A first, and this is something I'm looking forward to more than anything in the world. Seth Rollins, the Intercontinental Champion, defending the title, or not defending the title, I'm sorry, representing Raw, going up against the United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura, representing SmackDown as the United States Champion. And that's going to be, this is one match that I am so looking forward to checking out. Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, Raw, SmackDown, Survivor Series in 2 weeks' time. Everyone's going to be looking forward to checking that matchup out. And all I know is I want to see it. I want to see how far this goes. And I like Shinsuke Nakamura, but I'm going to go with my boy Seth Rollins. I'm going to go with Mr. Monday Night Rollins. I'm going to go with Rollins himself to take, I want the Architect to beat the Artist. Because the Artist doesn't have a chance against the Architect. That's my opinion. That's my thought. That's how it goes. And a rematch from last year's Survivor Series. It's going to happen. We now have a Universal Champion. It's Brock Lesnar. He's representing Raw. And he's going to be taking on the phenomenal AJ Styles, who's a WWE Champion who represents SmackDown. I saw the matchup between AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar. It was tremendous. It was great. I loved it. And a rematch between these two. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to go for it. I want to see this rematch. And as far as I'm concerned, I hope AJ Styles does beat Brock Lesnar. I hope it does. I hope it happens. Because that's one matchup that I'm certainly looking forward to. But nonetheless, all three matches for Survivor Series is going to be great. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. It's going to be tremendous. I can't wait to check it out. And besides that pay-per-view that's going to happen, what about NXT TakeOver? What about NXT TakeOver War Games? There are 3 matches on that one on the card that look good too. So let's talk about the NXT Championship. And it was already announced where Tommaso Ciampa will defend the NXT Championship against the Velveteen Dream. And wow, I mean, I thought it was going to be Lars, but I really like this idea of the Velveteen Dream against Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship at War Games. That's going to be something special to look at. And also, another matchup that I'm looking forward to, and this is a matchup that I am dying to check out. My man, Aleister Black from NXT to take on Mr. Wrestling, Johnny Wrestling, if you will, Johnny Gargano. As you guys know, Johnny was the one that attacked Aleister Black many months ago. And I got to admit, this whole thing with Aleister Black, I love his character. I love who he is. This is basically the wrestler for me that, he's in the ring. I love his entrance. I love his fine taste in metal. He loves metal music, and it's just dark, gothic, everything that the main event loves in a superstar. And someone that does not speak much. And that's even better, especially when it comes to a star like Aleister Black. So I can't wait to see Aleister Black go one-on-one against Johnny Gargano at NXT War Games TakeOver. It's going to be great. And also, speaking of War Games, we got the Undisputed Era. They're going to be a part of War Games as well. And they're going to take on the team of the NXT North American Champion Ricochet, the NXT United Kingdom Champion Pete Dunne, and the War Raiders. That's going to be something special to look forward to at WWE NXT TakeOver. It's looking good. It's looking great. And I cannot wait to check out the rest of the matches that are going to take place at NXT TakeOver War Games. It's going to be great. Tremendous. So, looks like I'm done, and looks like from the judging of that little, if you see me pointing at the viewership or how many people are there, nobody's really there right now, so I guess I'll go ahead and do what I have to do and leave when I can. So, guys, I want to thank you for watching this very special edition of the Main Event Talk, talking about WWE Crown Jewel. As I said before, worst pay-per-view ever. Everybody can agree upon that. It should have been a whole lot better. And the hashtag is going to grow all across the world when I say WWE Crown Jewel sucks. One more time. WWE Crown Jewel sucks. Hashtag WWE Crown Jewel sucks. Just want to get out of the way. So, guys, if you want to follow the main event on Facebook, all you got to do is go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/@RealMainEventTalk. You'll see other live episodes. Well, actually, I haven't produced any live episodes of the Main Event Talk over there, except for one that I did just yesterday. And it appeared there. It showed up there. Not a whole lot of people saw it, but I've already gotten a lot of good reviews about that whole situation. And no doubt I'm probably either getting good reviews or maybe not getting good reviews. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, thank you for watching this episode of the Main Event Talk. Subscribe to the Main Event videos right here on YouTube. And check out not just this video, but other videos that I put together as well. So that way you'll enjoy all that you can of the Main Event Talk. And I'm going to say this on my YouTube because I've said this on my Facebook page. The most controversial talk in all of YouTube, and all of Facebook Live, and all of Instagram TV, and in all of social media entertainment. Why? Because I'm that good, and I am very, very entertaining. Okay? That's cutting a promo stupid, but nonetheless, that's how it goes. So, thank you for watching, guys. And like I said before, follow me on Instagram at Instagram.com/@main-event-player. I'm sorry. Also, you can follow me on Twitter as well. Twitter.com/@main-event-player. And you can find me on my Facebook page, like I said, at facebook.com/@real-main-event-player. Main Event Talk, I'm sorry. And also, if you want to follow me on my other Facebook page, you can at facebook.com/main-event-player. That's my actual Facebook. So, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to try and get through this Saturday as much as I can. So thank you for watching this very, very special edition of the Main Event Talk. Hope you have enjoyed it. Hope you loved it. Don't forget to check out Monday Night Raw coming up this Monday. And in 2 weeks' time, WWE Survivor Series is going to take place Sunday on pay-per-view. And also Saturday, it's NXT TakeOver War Games. Get to check that out on the WWE Network when you can. Don't forget to check out Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, wrestling outlet that you're looking for. Just find it, just watch it, just look at it, and then look for me to hear the reviews, hear the talk, hear the most entertaining show in all of YouTube right here on YouTube Live. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here. I'm going to finish off the rest of my water and then do what I got to do on a Saturday morning. Why? Because I can and I want to. Any questions? Enough said. And just so you guys know, one more time, WWE Crown Jewel sucks.